My name is Chief Dr. Sir Bob Manuel Udogu Zana Bakrino Gidi. Join Martins on Political Views on Mondays 3 p.m., Saturdays 10 a.m. on Ebonadi 103.5 FM Gidi.
Yes, guys, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you're watching from. Please like, subscribe, and share, right? Hit the subscribe button right here. Remember to check me out on Amazon.com. I have a book. It is titled Hip Hop and Igbo Culture by yours faithfully, Martin Ifanch Kweke. So check it out, all right? Thank you. Yes, the truth about how compromised, custom officers are. Some of them that are aiding smuggling coming to light, to expose how it is a terrorism in Nigeria. On the 21st of February, undercover journalists, revealed how smugglers, work with custom officers to sabotage government efforts to curb hardship. A lot of damning reports emerging, about the activities of the hierarchy of custom officers in Nigeria today. They are being accused of, smuggling motorcycles for terrorists as well. So, good morning and welcome to Political Views on Ebona Day 103.5 FM. I am Martin Ifanshuku Ekezi. Yes, it is reported that top Nigerian custom officers emerged in multi-billion naira corruption scandal. It is said that anyone can bring anything into Nigeria if you bribe the right people. Also, Central Bank of Nigeria revoked the license of over 4,000 bureau de change operators in Borno State. The civilian joint task force neutralized ISWAP and Boko Haram terrorists in Borno State, in Timbuktu Triangle, in Lake Chad region. The army recovered a mine-resistant protective vehicle, anti-aircraft gun truck. A lot is happening in our politics this morning. Also, Governor Hope Uzodinma of Imo State commended President Bola Ahmed Tinubu on the adoption of Oransanya report on cutting of cost of governance. What we are getting into all of this. So let me bring you up to speed on the happenings in our political space this morning. The headlines. Now, on the headlines this morning, Inspector General of Police secures forfeiture of arrested oil vessel. Protest erupts in Jos prison over food ration reduction. Why 4,173 breed of change operators license were revoked. Labour has right to protest. TUC replies Tinubu. Labour not after your job. NLC replies Tinubu. Aba geometric power. You lied. Ex-commissioner tackles OT. Herbert Wigwe contributed to economic development of Nigeria. Tinubu's presidency not by chance. Chitima. Igbo marginalization. Igbo marginalization. Pro-Biafra group IPINS opt for restructuring. He sounds resentful, forgetful, ungrateful. NLC responds. Politicians overworking judiciary, says retired judge. Now, details. Before we begin to break down this political roundup, remember that you can become part of, the conversation by sending your reactions via SMS or WhatsApp messages on 080-9666-1035. You can as well join us on Facebook as we're live at Ebonade 103.5 FM. Drop your comment on the comment section of the live video right there. And the first story we have for you this morning, Inspector General of Police secures a forfeiture of arrested oil vessels. The Office of the Inspector General of Police has secured the forfeiture of 2 multi-million naira vessels, MT Harbor Spirit and MT Kali, which were arrested for illegal oil bunkering. In January, MT Kali vessel was arrested between 2 crew and accomplices from the communities while siphoning illegal crude oil in Bayelsa State. The combined team of Tantita operatives and the Navy arrested the MT Harbor Spirit on February 4, 2024, while the arrest of MT Kali was ongoing. The Inspector General of Police Office obtained the forfeiture order from the Federal High Court and also ordered the forfeiture of the contents of MT Kali and the MT Harbor Spirit to the federal government. According to a statement on Friday, the Inspector General of Police Office has arraigned the crew members of the vessels in the case filed by the Inspector General of Police, Mr. Kayode Ebotokun. Justice Abu Malik granted the motion for the interim forfeiture of MT Kali and her contents to the government. And the next story we have for you this morning, protests erupt in Jos prison over food ration reduction. Inmates in the correctional center in Jos, Plateau State capital, on Friday protested the plan to reduce their food ration. It was gathered that the protest followed a tip-off on the downward review of the food size. The increasing cost of living in the country sparked demonstrations as youths and women from various parts of the country took to the streets to voice their concern. Joined by the Nigerian Labour Congress to protest the economic challenge. Protesting the development, the inmates reportedly refused to take orders from the custodial officials while shunning their breakfast. The custodial officials, however, used tear gas to force them back to their rooms. Gathered in the center of the prison yard, the prisoners were shouting at the top of their voices. Confirming the development, the controller of the Jos Correctional Center, Raphael Ibumu, said the decision to reduce the food ration was prompted by the high cost of living in the country. Ibumu said the problem has to do with the high cost of goods in the market. The contractor in charge of the food said they are being forced by the price of food items to reduce the size of the plate of food. So it is the food size that provoked the protest. I don't think the protest is necessary because the food challenge and the cost of items, a national issue that the federal government is already addressing. And the next story we have for you on this edition of Political Views on Ebona, the 103.5 FM, is why 4,173 Brew the Change operators license were revoked. CBN. The Central Bank of Nigeria on Friday revoked the licenses of 4,173 Brew the Change operators over their failure to meet regulatory guidelines. The Apex Bank disclosed this in a statement by its acting director, Corporate Communications, CD Hakama. This means there will now be 1,517 operational BDCs from their initial 5,690. However, the president, Association of Bureau de Change of Nigeria, Aminu Gwabade, when contacted for comments on the development, told one of the correspondents that he wanted to pray at some minutes before 8 p.m. In the CBN statement, Hakama said the license withdrawal was in exercise of the powers conferred on the Apex Bank by the Bank and Other Financial Institutions Act 2020, Act Number 5, and the revised operational guidelines of Bureau de Change 2015. The statement read in part: the Central Bank of Nigeria, in the exercise of the power conferred on it under the Bank and Other Financial Institutions Act 2020, Act Number 5, and the revised operational guidelines for Bureau de Change 2015, has revoked the license of 4,173 Bureaus de Change operators. The list of affected BDC operators is available on the bank's website. Still on the stories making rounds our political space this morning, Labour has a right to protest. TUC replies Tinubu. The Trade Union Congress on Friday reacted to President Bola Tinubu's statement slamming organized labor for protesting within the first 9 months of his administration. The president on Thursday had told labor unions to stop their protests and wait for 2027 to join the political process. Speaking during the inauguration of the Lagos Red Line project, Tinubu said the labor union should understand that no matter how long we cling to our freedom and rights, the first strike within 9 months of an administration is unacceptable. If you want to participate in the electoral process, wait until 2027. If not, maintain peace. You are not the only voice of Nigerians. In his response on Friday, the president of the TUC, Festus Osifo, while speaking to newsmen, said the members of the TUC are unionists and not politicians. Hence, they have the right to protest. I listened to the comments yesterday when he said that we should wait for 2027 if we want to contest for elections. I could speak for the Trade Union Congress. We are not politicians. We are unionists. It is our right to protest. It is a fundamental right of every single Nigerian, he stated. On our political views, still on the labor issue, labor not after your job, NLC replies Tinubu. The Nigerian Labour Congress has asked the President Tinubu to focus on governance rather than politicking, adding that it was not after the president's job. This came less than 24 hours after Tinubu blasted the NLC for embarking on a protest 9 months into his administration, terming it unfair and unacceptable. Tinubu on Thursday at the unveiling of the Lagos Red Rail Line project lashed out at the Labour leaders, saying they were not the only voices of Nigerians. He asked Labour leaders who want to participate in the electoral process to wait till 2027. Responding to Tinubu in a statement on Friday, the NLC president, Comrade Joe Ajero, stated that the president's remarks were profoundly at variance with the struggle faced by ordinary Nigerians under existing policies. Ajero stated that President Tinubu's insinuation that Labour lacked the moral ground to challenge his administration barely 9 months into office was deeply troubling. He added that Tinubu's focus on partisan issues and the distant 2027 election cycle, rather than the urgent needs of the populace, further underscored a disconnect from the realities faced by Nigerians daily. And the next story we have for you about geometric power. You lied. Ex-commissioner tackles Uti over $3.556 million stake by Ibazu's government. About geometric power. You lied. Ex-commissioner tackles Uti over $3.56 million stake by Ibazu's government. John Carlo, former commissioner for information, trade and investment under ex-Abia State Governor Okeze Ibazo's government, has slammed Governor Alex Oti over his comment on the previous administration's $3.56 million investment stake in Aba Geometric Power. Carlo said this in a statement on Friday. Oti wondered what Ibazu did with the money invested in Aba Geometric Power owned by former Minister of Power Bat Nnaji. He noted that Nnaji confirmed the investment in a letter to Oti on February 28, 2024. He added that the investment was in handover note to Oti's administration on May 29, 2023. My attention has been drawn to a statement credited to Governor Alex Oti through his spokesperson that his government has received a letter from Professor Bat Nnaji, Chairman and CEO of Geometric Power, that the administration of Governor Okezie Ikpeazu paid at least $3.56 million to purchase stakes in the company for the people of Abia State. I have also privately cited the letter when written by Professor Bat Nnaji to Governor Alex Oti on February 28, 2024, wherein he confirmed that the previous Abia State government led by Dr. Okezie Ikpeazu bought 3.5% equity in Geometric Power, while the government of Alex Oti is free to rigmarole to minimize the damage to its battered line machinery. It must be noted that the government brought this public odium upon itself, he said. However, Carlo failed to fully explain how his principal spent all the money borrowed under his administration. Recall that Aba Geometric Power Plant, the country's first private independent and integrated power plant with a 188 megawatts capacity, was recently commissioned, having the prospects of 24-hour electricity supply to the city. The next story we have for you this morning: Herbert Wigwe contributed to economic development of Nigeria. Sultan of Sokoto, the Sultan of Sokoto and President General of the Nigerian Supreme Council for Islamic Affairs, Alhaji Muhammad Saud Abubakar, has revealed the unreported role of the late Herbert Onyenwumbu Wigwe played during his lifetime that was not known to many. Abubakar said he was patriotic and contributed to unity, progress, and peaceful coexistence among people of various ethnic and religious backgrounds in Nigeria. Aside being a known philanthropist of high repute, the Sultan made this revelation via a condolence letter addressed to the family of late Herbert Wigwe, CFR, Lagos, dated February 15, 2024, and was delivered to the father of the deceased, Elder Wigwe, by a high-powered delegation led by Sakin Fulani of Lagos, Alhaji Muhammad Abubakar Bambado II, in Lagos on Friday. Abubakar, who has stopped at nothing to see all Nigerians across ethnic and religious boundaries succeeding together in peace and unity, said it was a touching, tragic loss of Herbert Wigwe, his wife Chizoba, and son Herbert Jr. in helicopter crash in United States on Friday, February 9, 2024. Addressing the Wigwe family in the letter, the Sultan described the death as a great loss, not only to you, the immediate family, but to the entire nation, the corporate world, and humanity in general. Still on our political space this morning, Tinubu's presidency, not by chance, Chetima. Vice President Kashim Chetima says the emergence of Asiwaju Bola Tinubu as a president is not by chance, but a divine blessing based on purity of his heart. Chetima stated this on Friday when he hosted a delegation of the Nigerian Christian Pilgrim Commission, NCPC, on a courtesy visit at the presidential villa, Abuja. The road that led to the Tinubu presidency did not happen by chance. This is a man whose trajectory is characterized by making sacrifices for the good of the nation. The president's success is a divine blessing, which is a reward for the purity of his heart, he said. Chetima emphasized the need for leaders to invest in building bridges, stressing that Tinubu's contributions in providing an alternative platform for the Nigerian political system could not be underrated. President Tinubu made sacrifices and built bridges. He was a veritable sanctuary for victims of political witch hunts when other governors were struggling to have a seat at the dining table with former President Olusegun Obasanjo way back then. He provided an alternative platform for the Nigerian political system, he said. Chetima therefore urged Nigerians that despite the president not being a leader by accident, they should be patient with him as he piloted the affairs of the country to success. Chetima tasked the newly appointed board of NCPC to demonstrate unwavering devotion to duty. He reminded the board members of the importance of religious commitment in addressing the challenges facing the nation. And the next story we have for you this morning, Igbo traders in Kwara protest high taxation, lock shops. Igbo traders and businessmen in Ilorin, the Kwara state capital, on Friday, closed their shops in protest against alleged intimidation and overtaxation of their businesses by the state revenue agency, the Kwara State Internal Revenue Services. The traders, under the aegis of the Igbo Traders Association, directed their members, especially in places such as Taiwo, Abaka, Baboko, Itamudu, and other areas where there are heavy concentration of Igbos within the Ilorin metropolis, to shut down businesses activities over closure of some of the shops of their members in Ilorin, Chupet, one of the city's oldest stores, Ejide, and top business preparators were among the shops sealed by KWIRS over personal income tax. Newsmen gathered that the development left many customers of traders and businessmen stranded in such locations as Okoeri, Ibrahim Taiwo Road, and the General Hospital area, among other places in the state capital. The Igbo traders said that the revenue agency stormed their shopping complexes at about 10 a.m. with the revenue mobile court to prosecute them and lock up their business premises without being represented. The people who said that they are not indebted to the revenue agency added that they are up to date in payment of their taxes and rates, describing the action of revenue agencies as unfair. The businessmen also appealed to Governor Abu Razak to assist with tax waivers or tax holidays, as considering the current economic hardship in the country, adding that many of their members stocked their shops with goods received on credit. Coordinator of the 22 zonal chairman of Igbo Traders Association in the state, who is also the chairman of Building Materials Association, Surulere Zone, Kwara State, Chief Aloysius Mora, said that the tax officer wanted to start a collection of tax from individual members against an existing agreement with the agency to get the tax collectively. And the next story we have for you this morning, politicians overworking judiciary, says a retired judge of the Federal High Court, Ibrahim Buba, has accused the politicians in the country of overworking the judiciary arm of government to keep democracy going. He noted that oftentimes it's easier for people to notice issues with the judiciary rather than the bigger problems with politicians and political system. According to him, a society won't improve unless the political leaders follow the rules laid out in their party constitution and the national constitution. Justice Buba spoke in Abuja on Friday while delivering a keynote address at a function conference organized by a group, TAP Initiative, with support from the Open Society Funds. He said the Nigerian judiciary is undoubtedly being overworked by politicians. To sustain democracy, it is very easy for an outsider not to see the cow on the head of the politicians and the political class to quickly see the lease on the head of the judiciary. No amount of the judicial activism by the judges can better society if the political class is not willing to play by the rules of the game according to the constitution of their parties enacted by them and given to themselves a fortiori the constitution of Nigeria. Buba urged politicians to focus on politics of development and advancement to avoid wasting resources on inter-party fights, election petitions, and dragging the judiciary into a conflict of do or die. Yes, you're tuned to Abona at the 103.5 FM, and this is Political Views. We are going to get you the story about Igbo marginalization that a pro Biafra group opt for restructuring. If network allows us to get you that particular story. But there you have it now. We need to, remember that the troops, are fighting so hard to neutralize ISWAP and Boko Haram terrorists in Borno State, in Timbuktu Triangle, in Lake Chad region. The army recovered a mine-resistant protective vehicle, anti-aircraft gun truck. A lot is going on when it comes to even our security, and the Minister of Interior, Tunji Ojo, in charging the men and women of Nigerian Security Civil Defense Corps, stated that for every power line that is destroyed is a minus for Nigerian Security Civil Defense Corps, as well as every other property that belongs to the federal government. Wherever it is attacked or destroyed, that it is a minus for the Nigerian Security Civil Defense Corps. You remember that Governor Hope Uzodinma of Imo State commended President Bola Ahmed Tinubu on the adoption of the Oran Sayan report on cutting of cost of governance. What is your take on all of this? Remember that you can now become part of this conversation by joining us on Facebook as we are live at everyone at the 103.5 FM. Drop your comment on the comment section of the live video. You can equally, stream us online via mixlr.com/gistfm. Send SMS or WhatsApp messages on 08096661035. What is your take on all of this? The numbers you will call and then you become part of the conversation remains 070-3445-9334 or 070-4559-2210. Let's hear from you right about now. Hello. Yes, good morning, sir. How are you doing? I don't know. Okay, thank you so much for joining us. I know from Ndogo. I am but on the we did. I manage my so you can check out or on our Facebook page, so you can check it out there. But go I forget a bit okay, Gabaniru in time when you put today. Okay, Gabaniru Salo. Okay, and thank you. Kaina Batapazendozo. Thank you so much for joining us this morning, sir. Now, yes, let's hear from you right about now. What do you have to say about all of this? Hello.
Hello.
Yes, good morning, sir.
Good morning.
Welcome. Take and go on.
Okay. I don't know. How much you can from this one job?
Okay, because Gabaniru sir.
Yeah. The best of the country on this of my and then I'm
all the radio they on ebe no gbanyọ ya ka iwe na-aga kwazi n'iru sa ọdụrọ ngwa na-aga n'iru okay gbanyọ ya gawa n'iru
protest ya na-eme ma ha nọ na na-emeji n'isi otu
ihe
a na-eme dị mma mana ọ na-ekwesị amara nkiri ọ bụrụ ndị na-enye ya n'ihi ya na ọ bụ na mmiri dị iji wee gbanwe Tinubu na onwe ya na-ekwu na ya enye ya ofisila anyị n'ọmụna motu ya nọ ewee na-eme protest na-ebe ihe nta maọbụ na-anyị ekwu ya oge nyetọ ka njụọ ya ndị ji aka ọzọ ma nyetọ odu ka njụọ ya dịta abụ onwe nwaanyị na-akwado ansa ya kwekwara mbọchị ahụ a na-akpọ ahụ eji ndị ọrụ ka ọ nọ na ime ikpo okposi otu square dọkị ọgwụrụ paakụ o mere paakụ ụlọ ọsịsọ odide ihe sonye
And thank you so much for joining us this morning. Let's hear from you right about now. What do you have to say about all of this? Hello. Yes, good morning, sir. Apa gị na-ebi sakwa isa o? Gaba n'iru sa o.
Biko, achọrọ m ntinye ọnụ maka ndị ebe demonstration n'ụlọ nga. Ihe mere bụ na ndị ụlọ n'ụlọ nga ịma na Nigeria were ụlọ nga as a hellfire. Ịma na ọhụrụ developed country na ndị nọ n'ụlọ nga nwere privilege their entitlement. Na-ekwechi mmehie feed everywhere. And the secondly, o nwere ihe na-eme n'obodo a. The problem nọ n'ụlọ nga ịma na they are overcrowded. I could remember mgbe m visitere Ọka prison. Most of people never who a minor city. Not before. Here, sometimes they do the community service to do.
Okay.
It is charged. But they find out in every case, even our good case, they will deliver. Most of them are reminded at prison. All in Nigeria will go back to the drawing board. If we no longer now, all the states in charge of it, you feel all this rubbish.
Okay.
Because of all these 90% cases from the state, 90% cases which you take, not from that state can be state. So when you even longer, and they are contributing nothing out of it.
Okay.
I want to draw the president too. The same cases is there. Because I did say the problem, I was about to visit on the phone, but I couldn't make it. So, if now, all the social government, because some of this this problem and a minute like the lack of against the constitution is no question. How can social government be Catalan legal on a 90 just 10% of it?
Okay.
So all of the problem, if we can look back to drawing board, let's get constitution, let's take cater for the case in manner state. Before the rubbish are pushing.
Okay.
But
in the areas of ndị Kano awaiting trial and all of that, is wee kwu efukwa na nke a si maybe from the judiciary now ka a esi wee take over nke a, right?
No. Here that's waiting trial the one. Here man, here na if the only they carry work they go na
Okay.
Because most of the magistrates, even when you are taking waiting trial, even when you get this one, go and do community service. The mind there is free on because of my point. So there will be problem the next year.
Okay.
And all this state maybe. So all the federal government will urgently the previous on a state or state government like that. My brother is going to he may have to do 20 years that way.
Okay.
So all the problem at that time.
Msobaro, thank you so much for joining us.
Issue of former governor of other states.
Okay. Ibazo.
Problem at this country, lack of accountability.
Okay.
If there's somebody you have people gender, people quiet. My brother, as long as Nigeria is running this way, after many lives on the tunnel, somebody is saying, you still own salaries, you still own pensions. Here also look to the guy who the achievement, who went nothing should show for you. And after the state moving freely, the people who have to use Europe for even when I say it. As long as Nigeria is running their EAD like this, my brother, Nigeria, I've seen it and I knew when it was.
Okay, but the PRO or the person who on behalf of him now corner, you know, now this current government of other states is some of the things like Nkoku now or invest in this geometric power plant where enemy heading here. So don't you think that maybe now account to some of the information I put as well?
Some of the information happened like in that's the power this power issue. I'm going to this and that.
Okay.
Compare the money that you invested there. On behalf of
other states, yes, that they bought a stake in the company.
I agree with you.
Okay.
Why that they continue to exist in this country is because of they are not treating issue how it's supposed to be.
Okay.
Here are some people because I was watching this channel, one of the channels.
I got caught back when we can about those. Manina Shata will continue on the conversation.
All right.
Thank you so much for joining us this morning. Now let's hear from you. What do you have to say about all of this? Hello.
Hello, Martin.
Your tutor, my sister. Keke men tutor. No, Gabaniru. Yes, sir. Gabaniru.
Ihe gbasara President Tinubu na-atụrụ nọ 9 months ya na narị ahụ. Ihe na-atọ m ọchị bụ na ama m na nwoke ihe dị mmadụ ihe esi ime ebe ahụ. Ọ na-awanye kama nke obere akwa. Aka m nke awụ ha ajụ ihe ka ọ bụ bụghị ịkọ mmadụ iyi. Ego ụbụrụ otu ọkụ kịta. O nwere mgbe ọ ya wee rute ndị wee pụọ enyi ha wa na-acha gị ahụ. Maka na mgbe m ruru be m ebe anọ m ka something wee lụọ be na. Mana m nwere ịpụta kịta akwụrụ ọtụ miniti ga na-eme ihe na na-achọ m ezigbo ahụ. So ọ naghị awanye kama nke obere akwa. Mgbe ọ nọ na yut ka ọ si Legọs dịka ha si na ọlụlụ ọlụ dozicha ya mana kịta nwoke akabagoro ọ na-awanye kama nke ọkwaba na arịrị biko nke ọnwụ gịnị ka ọnwụ ọwa abụmọnụ ama m na nwere ihe bizman na-eji ime na ama m nọ biznesman ka ọnwụ mgbe o ji wee go moto 160 million per person wee nye ndị ministers ya ma ndị jọji dị involved ọnọdụ moto dị na-esi 1 trillion na fuel subsidy ya na-ele ọdị ya na dị ụmụdụ dị ebe ya onwe onye nọ n'obodo a kama na ọhịa ha na-eche ọmụmụ ka ego kwụ achịta ase overstatement okwu na jepụta ya mana ha ya na ebe a na-ekwu ncha n'ọnụ na-eme ncha n'ọnụ na ihe osisi ịnọ nwaanyị na-awụrụ ọmụọ nwa afụnwu ihe obu ọ bụrụ nwoke bụrụ nwaanyị ọmụọ ya ya afụ ya ọ bụrụ ezumike ọ na-enọ n'isi ya afụ ya isi na orubeghị ime ndị mmadụ na-anwụ agwọ n'isi mba onye ọ takwuru obi ya pụta 2027 ka gịnị ya ma aka ikuku a na-eme nwoke aka na-agbarịpụ ọchị ọ bụ ejeri ọ ka narị achị makwa anada 4 years gba biko o nweghị ihe nwoke a si n'aka ọ na-ekpata APC na nweghachi ya maka na ha na-enwe ihe n'iwu steeti ọ na-atọ ha ihe dị mkpawo our state is going on our party is moving onye bụ ihe dị mkpa ha na-ada aka akwụkwọ na ndị mmadụ na-ekwu good of them or bad of them mba ahụ mkpata adịghị so ihe na-achọ ịkọwa ebe a ka ntụgharị na alụmokwu na ịmụta ahụ nọ ka o si nọkịta o si na-abụ mkpamkpa na Abia steeti nwa na-afụ ya mmadụ na-afụ ya ma bịa ife onye bịara idozigbo na ihe ama ife mkpere ịkpọju abịa ihe ama ọgbakọta ka o jebe kpọkọrọ ụmụ ya jekwuo ọgbọgbọ ọbọdụ kata akịta kpọrọ ụmụ ebe mana ofe nwere na-enwekwu na ndị nọọsụ na-enwekwu ya ewetu ọzọ ndị ahụ ndị gbara ya aja n'ukwu ihe na-eso ahụ na-awe ihe pepa ka ọ gụọ ma ọ gụpụta asịrị ihe na adreesị aka na-amachi na 2 months 3 months ọ pụọ site ma atachi ya ama na nwoke wuru ihe na n'ọrụ onwe ya ara na-anya ka ọ pụọ kwezi apụkwe ndị adịrị mpezi nne mana nsogbu adị ọka ihe na-anya 2027 na ọbago ndị na-akụrụ ya aka na vidio bịa mara ihe ọ ya eme ka anyị na-eze gbọba na rizọtụ kịta onye ọ na-agọba ime anya ji gbọba rizọtụ ihe ọ pụrụ n'ime anya nwoke amara ihe ọ ya eme bụ na ọmara ihe ọ ya eme esi isi enweghị ihe asị ya na-enye Naijiria na-awụghị ịgbanwe ndị Naijiria ntị ma Chineke kwụra ka ha bata na Anambra daalụ.
Dalo, thank you so much for joining us this morning. We have got this message that says, "Good morning, this morning, Martin. I'm Agunabu, joining you from Bufa Aguluzi Igbo." He says, "Cost of living saga. Igbo traders are begging the governor to intervene on taxes. This is what we are saying. Bad government and high taxation will increase the goods and cost of living, and this will cripple. This will cripple the hope of masses, and by this, it will also increase the incessant killing, hardship we are watching." Thank you so much for joining us this morning. Remember to call us on 07034 459334 or 07045592210. Let's have this conversation this morning. Remember that we are also looking into the Igbo marginalization issue. Now is up. Let me tell you about it. Pro Biafra Group, IPINS, opt for restructuring. You know, the indigenous people of Igbo Nation for Self-Determination and Igbo Nationalist Movement, led by its convener, Uche Mofo, have insisted on restructuring on a panacea to solving the marginalization of Igbo in the country. Mofo, who strongly condemned the marginalization of the Igbo people of the Southeast in his statement he released to newsmen on Friday, also opined that creation of additional states in the Southeast will help in solving the Igbo problems, while urging the elected lawmakers from the Southeast and Ohanese Igbo to support this demand by his group. He equally called for an end to marginalization of the people of the Southeast to political petitions. A lot is happening. So what is your take on all of this? Do you think that this one that he is saying as well, that creation of more states in the Southeast is going to help to stop the marginalization of the Igbo people in Nigeria? The numbers once again, 07034 459334 or 07045592210. Let's hear from you right about now. What do you have to say about all of this? Remember that you can send SMS or WhatsApp messages on 08096661035. And Melford also said, "We demand a restructured Nigeria where the Southeast will have greater autonomy with its status guaranteed and in a region or confederal relationship with the federal government of Nigeria. We demand the creation of more states in the Southeast. It is crucial to create new states in the Southeast region to achieve equality with other zones and regions in the country. Also, it is urgent to end the systemic marginalization and disenfranchisement of Southeasterners, which prevents them from engaging meaningfully in the political life of Nigeria." He also added, "We demand an immediate halt to international destruction of properties and the intentional destruction of properties and businesses owned by the Igbo people. Those accountable for the commission of such crimes must be held liable through legal means," he stated. So what is your take? 07034 459334 or 07045592210. Now, talking about this, Uche Mofo was once the deputy of Nnamdi Kanu. So he coming out with this platform too. What does it mean? We're also looking into the issue of, the geometric power in Aba, about the contest that is going on between the current governor and the former governor Ibazo, the current governor Oti and the former governor Ibazo. What is your take? Let's hear from you. What do you have to say about all of these? 07034 459334 or 07045592210. The emergence of Uchomo for now, what does it mean for the struggle, the way it goes? And what is your take in what is going on? Even the fact that Igbo people are protesting in Kogi State, I think in Kwara State. So, what is your take? Do you think that the Igbo people are right in demanding for collective, taxation rather than personal taxation? And it was the agreement they had with the government. At the same time, NLC is trying to, affirm that they have the right to protest anytime they want to, that the president don't have that right to tell them not to protest. It is their, civic rights to protest anything they feel that is not right with Nigeria. At the same time, President Bola Ahmed Tinubu is saying that he should be allowed to operate first before, the criticisms and all of these strikes. That 9 months is not enough, so they are looking into it. That of the NLC chairman, Joe Ajero, is saying that it is disturbing to hear that the president feels that way, Yes, the network is poor, but keep the calls coming. We need to have this conversation. Keep them coming. 07034459334 or 07045592210. We need to hear from you. What do you have to say about all that is going on in our political space this morning? Yes, it is political views on Ebona, the 103.5 FM, and we are also looking into this issue of why 4,173 Brew the Change operators license were revoked. CBN, explains. Now, in the CBN statement, Hakama said the license withdrawal was in exercise of the powers conferred on the Apex Bank by the Bank and Other Financial Institutions Act 2020, Act number 5, and the revised operational guidelines for Bruce the Change 2015. The statement read in part, the Central Bank of Nigeria, in the exercise of the powers conferred on it under the Bank and Other Financial Institutions Act 2020, Act number 5, and the revised operational guidelines for Bruce the Change 2015, has revoked the licenses of 4,173 Brew the Change operators. The list of affected BDC operators is available on the bank's website. He added that the affected institutions failed to observe at least one of the regulatory provisions. According to the statement, the regulatory provision include payment of all necessary fees, including license renewal, within the stipulated period. He added the affected institutions failed to observe at least one of the following regulatory provisions: payment of all necessary, including renewal, rendition of returns in line with the guidelines, compliance with guidelines, directives, and circulars of the CBN, particular anti-money laundering, countering the financing of terrorism, and counter-proliferation financing regulations. The CBN is revising the regulatory and supervisory guidelines for Brew the Change operations in Nigeria. Compliance with the new requirements will be mandatory for all stakeholders in the sector when the revised guidelines become effective. Members of the public are hereby advised to take note and be guided accordingly. Recall that the CBN had recently introduced a draft guideline for BDC operations across the country. Major provisions introduced in the guidelines include the introduction of 2 billion naira minimum share capital for Tier 1 BDCs, limiting buying and selling of forests in cash by BDCs to $500 and $10,000 yearly limit for school fees, among others. Reacting to the development, the Chief Executive Officer of the Center for the Promotion of Private Enterprise, Dr. Muda Yusuf, applauded the move to regulate the operations of the BDCs. Still on our political space this morning, Igbo traders in Kwara protest high taxation, lock shops. All of this, we are looking into it now. And the Igbo traders said that the revenue agency stormed their shopping complexes at about 10 a.m. with the revenue mobile court to prosecute them and lock off their business premises without being represented. The people who said that they are not indebted to the revenue agency added that they are up to date in payment of their taxes and rates, describing the action of the revenue agency as unfair. The businessmen also appealed to Governor Abu Razak to assist with the tax waivers or tax holidays, considering the current economic hardship in the country, adding that many of their members stock their shops with goods received on credits. The coordinator of the 22 zonal chairman of Igbo Traders Association in the state, who is also the chairman of Building Materials Association, Silver Zone, Kwara State, Chief Aloysius Nwora, said the tax office wanted to start a collection of tax from individual members against an existing agreement with the agency to get the tax collectively. Also speaking, the first vice president of Igbo Traders Association, Chief Nathaniel Nwogu, led other leaders and the members of the association to the revenue court premises and state house of assembly to register their grievance. Said that some of the business premises locked up a deal in perishable goods. Nwora, however, suggested a roundtable discussion among representatives of the revenue agency, the state government, and the leadership of the Igbo Traders Association for an amicable solution. Said that there will not be business growth and development in any unfriendly environment. He said, for years we have had this arrangement with the state tax office to be collecting our taxes collectively and submit to them. And Uche Nwora is talking about Igbo marginalization. Does this look like another kind of Igbo marginalization? If you think so, and since they are calling on the governor, we'll see, what unfolds from now on. to see what happens there. But it's also, we pay taxes around here, even in the southeast too. You know, people pay their tax too. So then calling for, you know, tax holiday is another thing, definitely another thing, basically. So you think the governor should also adhere to it? If he does, what happens? You know, even in the southeast too, should there be tax holidays just the way they are demanding it too? 07034459334 or 07045592210. Those are the numbers you call, and then you become part of this conversation. Join us on Facebook. We can have this conversation on Facebook since the network is messing the entire thing up. Since network is, you know, stopped and we can't get through. Get involved on Facebook at Ebona, the 103.5 FM. Drop your comment on the comment section of the live video right there, and then we're having this conversation. Send SMS or WhatsApp messages on 08096661035. Let's have this conversation right now. Yes, as Uche Mofo is looking forward to the marginalization, Mofo said that we demand a restructured Nigeria where the Southeast will have greater autonomy with its status guaranteed, and in regional or confederal relationship with the federal government of Nigeria. We demand the creation of more states in the Southeast. It is crucial to create new states in the Southeast region to achieve equality with other zones and regions in the country. Also, it is urgent to end the systematic marginalization and disenfranchisement of Southeasterners, which prevents them from engaging meaningfully in the political life of Nigeria. He also added, we demand an immediate halt to the intentional destruction of properties and businesses owned by the Igbo people. Those accountable for the commission of such crimes must be held liable through legal means. We encourage and urge the Southeast stakeholders, elected representatives of Hanes and Igbo, to make it clear and that failure to address these long-standing injustices will compel the Southeast zone or region to explore alternative avenues for determining her own future. Melfor stated. Yes, you remember who he is? He is the deputy of Nnamdi Kanu in at IPOB, but now he's no more a member of that IPOB. He's now on his own platform that is called the Indigenous People of Igbo Nation for Self-Determination and Igbo Nationalist Movement. What is your take on what Mofo is saying right about now? 07034459334 or 07045592210. Let's hear from you right about now. What do you have to say about this? Hello? Okay, yes. Keep this call coming. 07034459334 or 07045592210. Let's hear from you right about now. Hello? Yes, good morning. Welcome back. Hello. I'm Manu Kunagani. Gabaniru. Okay. Gabaniru, just Tila on Hinaku. Uche Mofo. Uche Mofo na-ekwu nke a kịta ọ bụrụ barista Uche Mofo onye ọ bụ deputy Nnamdi Kanu na IPOB back in the days mana kịta ọ nọzi na his own indigenous people of Igbo nation for the self-determination and Igbo nationalist movement. Oh, how about that? Okay, so you don't interested in restructuring on Kumakia, and he create more states na southeast coast. What you create more states na southeast. Okay. Abia State. Maybe because of his background in a corporate world, the fact in all of on a bank and all of that. So most of these projects are available on his table as a banker. Man, not the same thing because no former minister of power be here initiating and now work on it. So not quite the same Nigeria. But thank you so much. I another taekwondo Zoketa because Namuna Gano Pegaka paper. Thank you so much for joining us this morning. Now, let's hear from you. What do you have to say about all of this that is happening in our politics this morning? Hello? Yes, good morning. Welcome back.
Yeah, good morning.
No. Okay, Gabani Rosa. Okay. Okay. nke ka o bido wee na-ekwu ihe ọ chọgasị from nke a ihe ọ na-ekwu nke ya bụ indigenous people of Igbo nation for self-determination and Igbo nationalist movement onye ka o bido wee na-edemand ihe niile ọ na-edemand na nyanwa na-eme n'isi okay. So ihe ọ na-ekwu gbasara create more states na South East or not draw okay n'anya ngwa Mandalo, thank you so much for joining us this morning. Now we need to hear from you. What do you have to say about all of this? Hello? Oh, okay, we lost that call. Keep it coming. 07034459334. What do you have to say about all of this? Hello? Hello, yes, good morning. Why, Oma? Take him, man. Okay, so we experienced the power outage in Waipo off air at the time too. Did you experience we going off air on your own side? Every say when buy no katapo off air on your. Okay, how did it happen, please? All of a sudden on your and all of a sudden on the paper. Okay. 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 So but yen jajo kai we observe or we modify me make mana na ga ni my sister feel I on no so maybe on na different level na civil level okay ini ku lo civil level we tanya so na say look na you the president that my ya people le dia no si ha ani o ka le amma that no then we am only for there that no na successful I don't know again the sector. But in long food, you didn't ask for. Or in town, with fat fire, or in town, with fat fire. Oh, not such a dozen the model, but why did the model you face you? Nigeria for them 9 months, 9 months, can't they? For that day, but I see it in effect. What along the same data. You know what? You're not 9 months. How long will it take you? If you need how you were for. Even if you go where I go, you know what? I'm not going to be cannot catch them out of those two. So, can you never about that now? I can't buy you mail. I say, my father, I can't find out with the video. You can't come up with the video. Nobody knows the negative. So that's how we're man or that. Now, okay. Dalo, thank you so much for joining us this morning. Now, let's hear from you. What do you have to say about all that is going on in our political space this morning? Hello?
Hello, good morning.
Yes, good morning, my brother. How are you doing?
I'm doing fine.
Okay, welcome. Okay. KBC Risha in Otuasa. Gabani Rusa.
So well idea no when you take a water by na Benue State. So well idea no when you Ebuala, when na Kogi State, here na here where the school population in Igbo. So when you Ebuala, when na River State, when you Ebuala, when na Edo State.
Okay.
Here na Iteji, and the population Igbo. So now also that's the anchor now some man I have to go call Jalo. Mama now federal government I just
Mana otu isi wee kọwaa maka otu isi kọwaa maka ndị Benue State and all of that ịkọwa kịta nyanwa na-ekwu okwu about create more states na Southeast. Don't you think no ife a ka ọ na-achọ ka edozie?
Senator onye Igbo eze ya na hapụ senator onye nọtara ka m wee bịa wee si na ike mmụọ steeti na South East na ọha na ha n'ugwe ha achọrọ ya mana difeite steeti na the whole house of assembly Nigeria ga-enye approve oge bịanụ ọ bụrụ na azụghị na ndị mgbadọta anyanwụ support why can do what I support or can have possible look like one or do can do support or do can do that
but you never can tell. You never can tell. Sometimes you might just try. Then can he will na the issue always one issue go the the demolition MLO building in the Igbo and all of that always and hona kowa so don't you think now
because no I
Wandala, my brother, thank you so much for joining us this morning. You can continue talking like that. I am Monday in support of secession. We are also in support of this country on the case we do see all country and we must get it right. So that's exactly what we are looking at. Abiana, the political system of Nigeria and very difficult for the Igbo person. You ought to go in make his way when it comes to politics in Nigeria. Or here not in a and then in a use I gotta be very careful about the kind of language I may use, like he's saying and keep as well. I drop off. But let's hear from you right about now. Hello.
Hello, my
yes, welcome back. Welcome, my sister. Good morning. I wish you the same. Same to you, my sister. Okay. Okay, you experienced it too.
Yeah. Okay. And they always want to imagine interested in coffee, all of the stuff. And they another you may forget some magic.
Okay.
About people
yes.
Is not an much. I think that I never and he was something was disguising informally
yes, he was a deputy then. Okay, one of the things, one of the things which I'm for is some of the interview BBC Melia, but the fact that he saw that the struggle became a weapon that is being used against our people, all people. See the struggle as a weapon. It became something like from the perspective of the Monday sit at home and his enforcing and all of that. When I call Now the struggle somehow became a weapon and a use against our own people. Now yeah, man, much we black here. So don't you think no all the right more it could be to
Oh yeah, one they never hope for the people. They don't stand a chance. They don't want our betterment at all. We can never and escape. And all man is an agent of the government. What the government what they go down and come back on and the few of them, they are very, very insignificant. I hear Mama and they are no issue. So let me keep it there.
Okay.
About our president and level, our president is talking about 9 months. How many months gone away go through away? How many months gone away to see when you are in the record book of forgetting Guinness
Book of Record.
How many months? When I have done good for the economy of this, I mean, oh, we are near I am near Baba, Manega, Yara, Baba, Yara, you know what? We've been looking instead with such arguments with level. Even I think we can, that is right. Some of the players they do a journey. Here on the during answers, one are talking at a level now. We are watching you. We are watching you. We better increase the sense. We are talking about the active and death of Nigeria. Finally, about those who match the one.
Yeah.
Onye na-adụ ebe osisi na-ete ego aghọrọ the magnitude of money our governors na-use. Go, okay, I don't know. Maybe that thing enwetere na warehouse from Igbo to this side. Maybe that na-ele ụdị what ihe a na-akpa afa n'ego this country. Yes, we didn't work at all. But the now, I want to make the house to be told as you are put it. But she has not been combined. Cambodia. Since Kosi was inaugurated, Kosi was there. You know this here? Now, Rolo. I've been pointing this thing out to people. They don't know about Abuja. About here. The two young of our way are not the polluted. And they still good area. The others were these governors, we will tackle them as well as the president. And
thank you so much for joining us this morning. Yes, let's hear from you. What do you have to say about all of this? Hello.
Hello.
Yes. Good morning, my brother. Good morning.
Good morning.
Welcome. Naganiru.
Yes. I think about the need to come yeah, my crazy hope for 9 months.
Okay.
What is joke? Nigeria maybe for work at that. I don't know what we're doing is joke. I didn't know that no one could stop it. 9 months, nobody had to do it just much like that. After time, I cannot go your back. Money in the food that man. Any good you walk in, I wouldn't know for how about what you do for a country. Then I have money hiding.
Okay.
So I find it funny we can afford. I came about to go for the way my can no, not a big order, but almost like I will look at.
Okay.
And the government of this place for many of them, I'm a good Mr. President. So I will go to a bono of 4,000.
Okay.
So I know it. The funny thing about you like Pussy, I can say, I know this large of where we are not right. Also, if I have a mile, I think I'm about that. But I couldn't, you want to win my can I can. Now, Mommy here. Now, Mommy out of the Mias, because I'm 80% joining here.
Okay.
Not to move forward. Not more than one.
Okay, Mandalo, Agonabu, thank you so much for joining us this morning. Let's hear from you right about now. What do you have to say about all of this? Hello.
Hello, Martin.
Yes, good morning.
Good morning.
Welcome.
You can come back. God, from Oka.
Nagani.
Okay. People, him and I make good of discussing political party. Yeah, if we didn't discuss Nigeria, because in Uchi, he was the one non Africa. He was the one, I think, also
APC.
APC.
Yes.
So, Obuna in the money, ya Kawagota. Our political party Yemen, we have one. Although political party Yemen, we have one. Don't you decide the role? If I was an individual, although not to discuss about political party, I think it's or what I carry on I discuss.
Okay.
Because political party don't say it's a vehicle. And it's an alphabet. So OT, and the Kuma Gabro, because none of our labor alone. OT has been decided to do work in another state. So over I am for one time, you know, when they go on fine it one to the world.
Okay.
Oh yeah, I got that banana corner because of none of our labor. Therefore, just I'm not saying it not because of the proposal alone. OT decided to face the challenges to use on ground. And let's obtain able within the observation. Oh, yes, take within the discourse. Issue of presidency. You and I know that this country, there were issues on ground.
Okay.
Successful administrator have destroyed this country. Overall, Tanakonia is a problem.
Okay.
Even most of this thing we are countering today is an inherited problem. Some people may say no. Now they move overnight. I don't agree with them.
Okay.
Problem in this country who accommodated issues or problems. Both PDPU and NPPU ASCO is a combination problem. And they continue going on. And people, they are using their personal attention.
Okay.
Going on ASCA. Also, you know, FDDP is causing the problem. Going on NPP. Also, you know, APC is causing the problem. They are passing people attention. Can you discuss for what you're buying a roll and do about all your hands between that?
Okay.
Let's stop talking about political parties.
Because it's only a vehicle that leads them to that seat of power in the first place.
It's a vehicle. It's a vehicle. That is why these politicians are using many people like a toy. Because those things like Mabata, like when you have and the party, so and they call them to and people continue talking like that. I look at it, some of our discussions, in the time in front of people are too, the mentality of people are too low.
Yes.
And poor. Can you go behind a political party? Because I'm a person. All president not the overall political party. So people, in the time I can get the photos in all the man is saying something, one of the iPod leaders in the book.
Yes. Yes, okay. You're talking about the Uchemofo now. Uchemofo.
The game and creation of space. It's only military don't need to organize. Civilian administration is somewhere a long process to create a state.
Okay.
Because I
mean,
so who don't do that about because they like face here. It is the way.
Okay.
Only then go with you with your coin and the maintenance and I'll find somebody. But I don't say
I hope.
So I'm going to go to a cost of push up. When we start discussing like that, the man and naturally way forward.
Okay.
Some of our services, I mean, they need buying a match. So they want to pick up. Forget about discussing about we to point. They have to have one go with them one.
Okay. Man, thank you so much for joining us again. Kai will look for one or two calls before we begin to call it a day on this particular edition of Political Views on Ebona, the 103.5 FM. Hello. Yes, welcome back, my sister. Gabaniru.
Maka onwe ihe dị ka omenala ndị onaghị emekịta nwa dịka ndị Igbo abụghị na ka ndị Edo steeti si eme. Andị na-adịkwa na Anambra steeti ahụ na gị na-agbanwe ofu ndị ofu Igbo ka anyị wụ. O nwere ihe ndị ụmụ ya na-asọ abụwawe na nke ya anaghị asị ya na be anyị. Ya bụ na-abata na marriage ọ dị mkpa na ije ekiri ihe ndị a niile. O nwere ihe site na nwata ka ihe ụnụ na-atọ n'ụmụnna anyị nwa anaghị asị na nka nke anyị na-asọ na nka ndị ụlọ nwa bụ ndị ogidi anaghị asị ya onye ka o ji dị ka iji ịlụ gị ịgba mbọ jụọ ajụjụ obodo ị na-eje and family ị na-aba gịrị ka ọ dị ma dia mgbe anyị nọ na PDP adịdị Naijiria adịghị ụna APC bata obodo obodo anyị si n'ala anyị na-ekwu ekpuru mmiri n'ọnụ wee na-ekwu ya adịdị wọt part of it na ha eji ọreleti eji ha ọgwụ Naijiria Tinubu anachikịta gwara anyị n'ọnya nwanyere anyị Buhari mgbe nne ji onye chọ na-eme akwa ịnụ ka Tinubu nwere dị ụkwụ okwu
nsogbu arọ my sister anyị achịkọtabazi ya maka na taịm anyị ezubego
onye ọzọ kwụziri na mgbede Buhari kwụsị ka ya ebido ebe onye ka Buhari ji na ụgwọ wee pụta 7 trilion ya ole ya ma abatago gị ole ka ọ na-agbagote azụnwa onye ya mere pati dị mkpa ka a na-ekwu nsị ike jikwepụkwana ka ha bata na Anambra daalụ.
Thank you so much for joining us again this morning. And we've gotten to the spot where we'll begin to call it a day on this particular edition of Political Views on Ebona at the 103.5 FM. Right now, let me offer, apology for the break in transmission that we didn't even notice. But it was happening in your session, and we'll need to hear more, your feedback on this, how it happens around you, so that we'll get to, figure a way out to serve you better. But on the political views, we just had this discussion about our political space. Everything must go objectively, even when we're talking about, all the contributions of the actors, we must be objective in it, and that's the only way we can sort things out in Nigeria. Being objective about, issues and not being sentimental about what is going on around us. With the objectivism, we will get to where we need to get to. And that said, this is the spot where we'll call it a day on this particular edition of Political Views on Ebona at the 103.5 FM. Remember, it comes your way Monday, 3 o'clock p.m. to 4:30 p.m. Then Saturday, 10 o'clock a.m., to 11:30 a.m. So let's do it again, same time, same station. Till we meet again, I am Martin Ifa and Shuku AKZ. Have a wonderful weekend.
My name is Chief Dr. Sir Bob Manuel Udoku Zana Bakrino Gidi. Join Martins on Political Views on Mondays 3 p.m., Saturdays 10 a.m. on Ebonadi 103.5 FM Ogidi. Man is a political animal. That's why we all have our views on politics. Political View comes to you at Ebonadi 103.5 FM with Martin Ifan Shuku every Monday, 3 o'clock p.m. to 4:30 p.m. and Saturday, 10 a.m. to 11:30 a.m. It's all about the day-to-day activities in the Nigerian political space. Views of political actors from various political parties on
like, subscribe, and share, right?
Views of labor leaders, and most importantly, your views. Views of the common Nigerian. Tune in to Ebona at 103.5 FM, or you join online via mixlr.com/gistfm every Monday and Saturday. What are your political views? Keep a date.
So, thank you so much for joining me this morning. Remember to check out my book on Amazon.com. Hip Hop and Igbo Culture by yours faithfully, Martin Ifan. Thank you so much for joining. Like, subscribe, and share. Hit the subscribe button right here.